edition of this week, and we are still continuing. And today we are joined by guests, one from Uganda Human Rights Commission and the other from Uganda Police, and really we are to discuss issues related to the human rights violations. And this is the ongoing mob action that we're seeing happening right in the Central Business District, and they will be telling us more to that. And really, without wasting any time, I know we are really running out of time, and really, if I can be briefly maybe able to introduce the guests. As you can see on your screens, right on my right is OKURUT BOSCO. He is the Regional Human Rights Officer, that is for Uganda Human Rights Commission, ARUA Regional Office. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. You're welcome.
Yes, that is him, and I also do have on my left, that is IP Inspector of Police Matua Alfred Otokira. He is the Divisional Community Liaison Officer for Arua Central Division, where we are seeing a number of activities going against the mobs. And yesterday, I must remind you, we did see a number of people also really uniting on the borders and really moving with a lot of noise. And this did draw attention of the members of the public who are told they don't also really know what is happening, and they will be telling us what exactly is happening right in the Central Business District as far as the issue of mob action is also really happening. And yesterday, I must remind you, we did see burning of motorcycles, and I know this is against the right to property, and they will be also really telling us more that much as these thieves have also really no right that is take on people's property, we do also do understand that they have a right to life. You're most welcome, Mr. Fandi.
Good morning, dear viewers. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. As trying to head into the discussions, we want to look at why there is a rise in mob action in Arua City. Why are we saying this? Because today, if we talk about mob action, this is what we term as mob justice. And really, this is not mob justice. It is really something that human rights activists will be telling us maybe more about that. Because usually what happens is that when people talk about mob action or mob justice perhaps, or as they usually call it, they usually talk about it when there's life lost, which is not really the case, because that also really heads to another case. Now it becomes murder, or rather also mob action, also what we are seeing in there. But really, we want to understand why is there a rise in mob action, most especially in the Central Business District. I will start with you, Mr. OKURUT BOSCO, and then police. I will be telling us maybe how far they have done maybe to also bring this rise, because yesterday we did see also police involved in that activity of also trying to kick the thieves out of the Central Business District. But without wasting any time, maybe first tell us more about mob action and mob justice and really what the law is saying in relation to that.
Thank you very much. I would like to appreciate West Nile TV for this TV show. In the first place, we would like the public to understand what mob action is actually. This is what most people normally refer as mob justice, which is not the case. It's not justice at all. This is an act of stoning, beating, burning of a suspected criminal, especially by a group of people. And in most cases, these are civilians who do that. And they come together with the intention of harming the suspected criminal. So that is what we call mob action. And this mob action is not new. It started way back, even before Christ. That's why in the Bible, when you look at, when you read the story in Genesis chapter 34, you realize that there was a story of abduction and rape of Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and then the violent reaction of her brothers, Simeon and Levi, who went into the city and killed all the men because of that. That was the mob action. And then you also recall the execution of Jesus Christ. When you read the story in Matthew chapter 27, you also get that story. That was also mob action. So the situation of mob action in the country generally is not okay. Before even you come to the West Nile region, you realize that there are so many cases that have been brought to book, that have been highlighted. For example, on the 1st of February 2024, a mob killed a suspected thief who went to steal at Ginger. Imagine, Ginger Central Police Station. This was somebody who went to steal. In the first time, they stole and went away with the property of an officer. Then the second time, the officer got the person, and the mob came and lynched the person. That was in Eastern Region. And then on the 11th of February also, 2 suspected thieves were burnt to death by a mob in Kagadi district. That was in Western Region. This was for stealing a motorcycle registration number UFN 290L, a Bajaj. And then on the 9th of April, a suspected turkey thief, aged 30 years, was lynched by an angry mob in Namisindwa district. This was in Eastern Region, bordering Bududa and so on. Then on the 12th of April, 4 suspected thieves were lynched by an angry mob in Mukono. That was in Central Region. This was for stealing 2 motorcycles registration number UFF 955G and UFX 119V. And also, in the process of stealing these motorcycles, they killed the owners. You know, that was all.
Does that justify also if people get these thieves, they should kill them because they also killed the owners of the motorcycles?
We will come to that. We will come to that. But allow me conclude on the situation. Okay. Now, coming to West Nile region, mob action has been so rampant. In March alone, and in Ediofe alone, 3 suspected thieves were beaten and burnt. Now, on Wednesday 10th, this was 10th April 2024, ED Day, alone, 3 suspected thieves were lynched by the angry mob. One at Seford,
who was burnt.
Who was burnt, partially. And this one was snatching a phone from a lady, and he was beaten and burnt. Then one at around Concord, and then another at Kijomoro sub-county in Maracha district. Now, as a result, you realize that mob action is rampant. And coming to yesterday, as you are all aware, yesterday, 16th of April, there was a group of youth organized. They organized themselves, and they were moving around the city centers, looking for thieves.
And really, what we did see is people carrying the weapons, the bars, the sticks.
They were carrying the sticks. Some were walking on foot, some were riding motorcycles, some were moving on using vehicles.
What does this mean for maybe somebody who is not understanding what exactly is happening? Why must the youth also really unite so that they can kick off the thieves? What message is this trying to pass? Could it be the weakness maybe of the security as to why now they have maybe failed to gain trust in police or other security agencies?
No, I think we will come to that. Why mob action? We will come to that. But as of yesterday, this is what exactly happened. And unverified information indicates that some people, most of the thieves were arrested and taken to police. I'm yet to find out the number, but not less than 10.
The number was about, according to information we received from them, is around 30 plus. This is for the thieves that they were able to pursue from their various hideouts.
We will hear that from FARISH Matua. So, the forms of mob action that are applied in the region and elsewhere, including chasing away, banishing from the clan or the area, lynching, burning, beating. These are some of the forms used by the mob to really make sure that they punish. According to them, they punish the suspected thieves. Now, coming to the underlying causes of mob action, both within the region and outside the region, but let me focus mostly within the region. There are high levels of poverty, compounded by high levels of unemployment among the youth. You realize that most of the youth are not employed, and there's poverty both in urban areas and rural areas. Now, this leaves these people with no option but to look for ways of survival. And they have resorted to stealing, especially the youth. They have resorted to stealing other people's property. We will talk about the right to property later. but they have resorted to stealing other people's property, which is equally against the law, because they are idle, they have no source of income, and yet they want to live a luxurious life. You realize that they want to buy smartphones, they want to ride the motorcycles, they want to eat, they want to give money to their lovers, and so on, and they want to go for discos, and all these things need money. So you realize that they have resorted to stealing other people's properties, and then this is one of the causes.
And is that why we must think of also resorted to killing them now in turn for also what is happening?
That one we shall talk about it.
Anyway, we must put you on the side. Let me first bring on police a bit, also say something about the ongoing operations. As of yesterday, we did see a number of youths joining together to also really see to that they kick off the thieves, most especially out of the central business districts areas of also the Arua city. And we did see operations going on, that is from the day before yesterday, and also the operations did enter the highest level in the second day, because we have this happening. It's not the very first time we're seeing this happening, but yesterday we did see the campaign also really getting very much higher anticipated, where it also really drew attention of some members of the public who were asking themselves of what could be happening, because really the way these people were riding a motorcycle, you would think that they are really going to capture terrorists maybe somewhere or something maybe of that sort, but really I must say what happened maybe in that area is that we were able to see some of the motorcycles being burnt. And the reason as to why these people said for burning these motorcycles is because they lack the trust in security. They hand over these exhibits to police. Police also really at times also hands them over back maybe these criminals, and to them security is also really seen conniving with also these thieves, and that is why they did it personally to hand over these thieves up to the cells and to see to that these thieves are put in the right cells. I don't know what you can say about the operations that is ongoing on, and maybe as police, are you aware about it, and what are you doing exactly to see that also really we bring sanity in the central business district where criminality has become at its peak, where people cannot freely move with their phones, and women really move with a lot of fears when they are carrying bags, because anytime these youths who are using the motorcycles can come and snatch them. I don't know what you can say about the operation. I don't know as police if you are aware about it, and maybe those allegations, whether you can also clarify on them, that would be well and good. You're most welcome.
Thank you, dear viewer. Police is mandated to protect life and property of the community, enforce the laws of this state and other functions. In doing so, police usually carries operations where they identify black spots, where criminal gangs or crime is committed. This has not been the first time police is carrying out operations in Arua City. You are aware that towards the festive seasons of Easter and the Eid, which we have just concluded, police stepped up to operations to deal with crime in the city. Of recent, the city has been experiencing broad daylight robberies, say of phones, of personal belongings, of unsuspecting members of the community. A number of criminals had been arrested through intelligence-led operations, which police has been conducting, and these criminals were taken to court. What people should know is that these criminals, they were not only those that were captured and taken to court, others evaded arrest and still remained in the community. It should have been that those ones should learn from the arrests we made that they desist from troubling the public, robbing them and what have you. Instead, they went out threatening the community, doing barbaric acts of robbery in broad daylight on motorcycles and what have you. On 15th, police carried out operations, targeted operations in some few areas and captured some of these thugs. Now this climaxed yesterday when the community mobilized and said, no, we must pick up these people and hand them over to police. In many parts of the city, that's where you saw the community participating in arresting these criminals. Those that they arrested, some of them they handed over to police. Those that they couldn't arrest, they kept chasing them on motorcycles, in places in their hideouts, and that was what transpired yesterday. The police is aware of those operations, and the police kept on responding to those that became violent because these criminals put up organized defense systems against the community. In some areas, that is where you saw the community almost resorting to lynching some of them. But I'm here to report that no fatality was registered in this operation. The community have a duty to cooperate with security agencies to ensure safety and security in their areas of abode.
Maybe if I can briefly ask you a question.
Yes.
Much as what these thieves have a right to life, the owners of the property also as well have that is a right to their property, as these thieves also have their right, that is to life. That is what human rights are saying, and he will be able to clarify if at all I'm not maybe clearly coded it there. But really what is happening in the central business district is that these people are tired of the thieves, and that is why you saw the community voluntarily uniting and joining hands to see to it that also they arrest the thieves. I don't know, maybe as police, how you are working together to ensure that these people's lives also really is protected during these operations. I don't know what you're doing exactly to see that also we have no lives lost in this exercise. Because as of yesterday, I was able to come to police. At least one of the messages that I really did see police also passing out is the protection of the life of these thieves. I don't know what you're going to try to do, because I know police must be also really handcuffed in terms of also the numbers, maybe resources also here and there, and with the other challenges which we really know police also really for. I don't know what you're doing to see that also the two are respected. That is for the rights of the property of the maybe those victims who have been whose properties have been lost, and then the thieves also really, we do understand that much as they are doing wrong things, they still have a life that is to live, and that is really something that also really God gave it to them, and it is only through courts maybe that is where they can be sentenced maybe to death or life. Maybe that is where also the human rights activists will be able to explain to us more about that. But really, I want to understand as police what exactly you're doing to see that the two are respected. One, the right to property, and secondly, the right that is to life of these people who are also known as the thieves.
Time again, not only today, on West Nile TV here, we're emphasizing this. A person who is implicated in a commission of a crime is presumed innocent until this person is proven guilty by a court of law, or this person admits himself that he has committed a crime. The community always will say they are ignorant about this principle. We have been emphasizing in many interactions with the community, both on media and in community barazas, that much as the community has a right as private persons to arrest a suspect, they should be mindful that they respect the right to life and right to property of the individual. There is no justification whatsoever for the community to take the law into their hands and assume that they should take away life and property of any person. A few incidences were registered in these actions which the community took against criminals themselves, such as beating. As you said earlier, 2 or 3 motorcycles were burnt. Those are subject to investigation. Police have already commenced investigations why these things were burnt. These are the violations we saw in these operations by the community against these criminals.
You can see matters they are doing wrong things, they still have the right to own property.
Yes.
So banning it is against
banning the property of the thieves or banning anybody's property is a violation of a person's right. The human rights officer will tell us that everybody has a right to own property. Even the right to live is not granted by anybody. These are inherent in all of us. Whether a member of the community or security agencies, we have to respect these rights of individuals. So in the operations we saw, which the community took upon themselves to conduct, the police was able to intervene promptly where community went rowdy against some of these criminals. You saw the police patrol running from place to place, rescuing those the community wanted to beat up. That does not mean that some people didn't get maybe injured in this fracas. Others got injured in some of these things. Some people lost property. The burnings you saw, we condemned those acts, and the police is trying to do all it takes to see that these operations, even if the community said they want to team up with security forces to arrest these criminals, the right procedures should be followed. We emphasized to those who brought suspects to the police station that they should respect the right to life and the right to property. That is why you saw later, towards some hours of the evening, the community were arresting suspects who were brought to police. Were not beaten, but some of them were beaten. Because the police took them.
Because according to information we had from these people, it is because of resistance. Those who are willing to submit, we are actually picked and handed over to police.
Yeah.
And those who are also maybe trying to put some resistance, that is when they also really got maybe anger from the public and the mob that was really in place. And I must say, this is quite a huge number maybe of these youths who have united, and you see that they put all the things that they have been doing aside for the day's court. Maybe for those who had been maybe busy doing their activities during the day, they were able to put all those aside yesterday and see that they bring sanity. Maybe what does this show of the security of maybe the city council, and then maybe secondly also really how far maybe will these campaigns go? Shall we intend maybe achieve the intended purpose of what the campaign is all about? Maybe at the end of the day, shall we see these thieves being kicked out of Arua City, like how these people want it?
These operations have been a routine exercise, not only yesterday, not only the other day, but routinely. Security agencies, even members of the public, have been doing operations against criminal gangs, particularly the criminal gangs that have been terrorizing, instilling fear in the community. What annoyed the community was that these boys organized themselves into groups which the community assessed or which would in future be very disastrous to our security in the city. The community said, despite the efforts by security forces to try to handle crime in the city, these youths kept on building in numbers, luring very youthful boys into their evil activities. So the community said this must stop. Originally, there was before the community was fearing to report these people to the police. They were fearing to take action against these people when these people would go in broad daylight to rob, especially women and whatever.
Let me just pass on the information from what these people are saying.
Yes.
That sometimes when they hand over these people to police, there are some people whom these people suspect. I will not be able to mention the department, but there is a department these people have mentioned that these people connive with these thieves to also really pass on information. In case where maybe police is supposed to carry out an investigation, maybe an operation, there are people within the police themselves who will also pass on the information to them, and that is why they are losing trust. maybe in police, but I will be able to first of all put in maybe I will hold for some time. Let me first maybe bring that is human rights also activist Mr. OKURUT Bosco to tell us maybe what this message or maybe what kind of message the operations by the youth in Central Division is trying to pass. Does it mean that really our security system is not doing enough? Because you are somebody who has been at least able to move within the communities to sensitize them about the law. And recently we were with you in Arib, where you also maybe also sensitize the locals there about their rights, first of all in relation to the mob action, and then secondly also really what they need to do. And these community members were able to raise a number of challenges. Maybe as human rights activists, if you can maybe briefly tell us why people are getting around there. No, maybe why people are not also really respecting the rights of these things, that would also really be quite good. And what exactly you are trying to say to them in terms of also really respecting the truth, so that we also really live in a harmonious society where there's respect to human rights, and then maybe where there are no violations. First of all, maybe depriving somebody of property or life, all this must be respected because that is what human rights are for. And maybe first tell us more about human rights, because sometimes people also blame human rights because people, if you really look at the parents of these children who are really also with whom we have always interacted, why their children have become rowdy, where their children are messing, they will tell you, there are times also tell it is human rights, because sometimes human rights also really give a lot of privileges to these children. And that is why they are failing as parents, because as a parent you cannot differentiate maybe punishments that are heavy for the children, which would act as warning to them, and they are blaming human rights. What exactly maybe can you also put forward in relation to that? That would also be quite good.
Well, thank you very much. Human rights is for everyone. As far as the operations are concerned, in the first place, I think I wouldn't be comfortable having operations where the police are not involved and the security agencies are not involved, because as you may realize, some of these gang members are armed, and they can do anything to a member of the community. And I would advise that the members of the community do these operations in line with the law. And the law allows a civilian to arrest, but the law says immediately after arresting, hand over to the police. And you are not allowed to beat anybody. You're not allowed to injure anybody in the process. Just arrest and hand over the person you've arrested to the police. Then the police will take over from there. So in terms of these operations, whatever the youth are doing in arresting and beating the suspected criminals, that is illegal. Because the law allows the police in the first place to apprehend these criminals, investigate their criminality, take them to court. That's what the law mandates the police to do. Of course, we have other institutions that play a big role in the prosecution and having this brought to book. But for the members of the community, I would really advise, liaise with the police, do these operations alongside the police, so that you will not be faulted for anything in case anything happens to somebody. In an operation like that, when a member of the community or a suspected criminal dies, whoever was involved in the arrest will also be arrested for murder. So the police, in their operations, they know the law. As they go out there, they know that they are not supposed to beat, they are not supposed to kill, but the members of the community may not go by the law. They will go when they are angry, and they can do anything. And then when you come to the issue of the violations that happen in the process, you may realize that it's not only about the right to life, it's not only about the right to property, there is torture. Right to freedom from torture. The suspected criminals, you're not supposed to torture them in any way. And the torture is one of the absolute rights, according to our constitution, under Article 44. When you come to the right to education, in most cases when right to life is taken, there are so many other rights that are affected, of the children, of the deceased, of the dependents who have been depending on the deceased, you realize that right to education is also taken, right to health is also, affected, and so many other rights. As soon, when we talk about criminality of mob action generally, you realize that it affects the life not only of the suspected criminal, but also the family members. Now, coming to the members of the community who are saying that human rights have spoiled the children, and when they try to punish them, human rights comes in. In the first place, human rights is about only positive things. There's nothing negative about human rights. And there is no human rights law that says somebody has a right to commit an offense. It's not there. You don't have a right to commit an offense. You don't have a right to violate the right of another person. Now, the parents out there, you have a responsibility, you have a duty and responsibility to make sure that you bring up your child in a responsible manner, in a respectable manner. A child who respects the community, a child who respects the laws, a child who knows God, a child who knows what they are supposed to do. But you realize that parental responsibility is lacking. Parents have taken on looking at their children, do whatever they want, and they say it is their right. You're looking at your child leaving your home almost half naked, and they are going for a disco, and you say it is their right. When a child brings something at home, you don't question, but you consume. I'm talking about now the criminality.
And this is what is exactly happening in the Central Business District, and this is one of the accusations also religious leaders did pass on during the Eid celebrations. That's one of the messages that was passed.
Exactly.
What you're just trying to say here.
Exactly. So you realize that parents are no longer interested in upbringing their children in a moral way. Children are morally not okay. Children are not respecting anybody. Children are doing whatever they want, but the parents are saying it is their right. There is no such a right. You look at your child coming, you know very well that your son does not have a reliable source of income. But they are coming home with meat, they are coming home with the motorcycle, they are coming home with smartphones.
And you feel happy about it.
And you're happy about it, you're not asking. Instead you're eating, you're enjoying, and when other members of the community, maybe neighbors, try to talk about it, you say they are against your child. This is where we go wrong. And we really blame the parents who are not responsible. Parents are no longer responsible. Even their parents who have produced children, but they don't know where they live. Those children. Children very early in the morning, because their parents do not care about them, they don't pay their school fees. Children leave home early in the morning, they are at the trading center, they are busy stealing people's properties, and you, the parent, you don't know even where your child is. This is where the problem is. Children are abusing substances. They are smoking opium, they are chewing mairunji. As young as 10, 11, children are chewing mairunji, children are smoking opium, children are sniffing aviation fuel, children are...
in the other place, they even smoking grey hair for elders.
They smoke grey hair. They also carry azangi. There's azangi in Terego, azangi leaves. These are leaves when you put in a pocket, you'll be high. And you remain high until you remove those leaves. Then there is drug statistics in Zombo.
Maybe this could be maybe contributing to this kind of children engaging in criminality. And you will be able to maybe take us through later on as we're running out of time. Maybe if I can briefly bring on Afande Alfred Matua. I've kept him for quite some period of time, maybe to also tell us what exactly holds that is for those parents who are neglecting their duties as parents, the parental obligations of raising these children. I do understand as police we have a sole department that is of Child and Family Protection Unit that is to look into this. But today you realize that some of the parents actually do not also really give enough priority in raising their children. When these operations were happening, I must also remind you on a sad note, one of the parents was actually, I was very shocked when one of the parents in one of the areas that was in Central Division, this is in Arua Primary, where this woman was actually able to praise the son for riding motorcycle. The woman was praising and narrating how the child was able to escape from this crime. Maybe these people were pursuing him, and this was something I must say. This was quite sad, because the lady, according to the narration, my son dodged this, did ride this. If it was not maybe for him to know how to ride motorcycle, he would have been caught and killed. This is quite sad, and it's happening. That means that parents are sometimes really benefiting from these tips. That's the clear indication of what also really Bosco did say here, of some parents who want to benefit from these criminal activities and who are really also really into that aspect, maybe of also really enjoying the privileges these children are also really doing for them. And that means as police, there's a lot that we need to do. I don't know as police what exactly you're doing to see that also really for parents who are neglecting their duties of raising these children are also really dealt with in maybe 2 minutes as we plan to head for the first commercial break of the show.
Yeah, as police, we do a number of things to see to it that the community adapts better ways of living that cannot drive them into either poverty, crime, and many other things. One, we do sensitization of the community on their rights and their duties and responsibilities. We emphasize this to both the youth, the children, and even the parents. Parents have a duty to maintain their children. Through our sensitizations, we emphasize that. You rightly said it, the police force went ahead to open, to establish offices called the Child and Family Protection. These offices were established with the purpose that they should assist in guiding parents who may have gone astray, neglecting their children, neglecting their families, to really come on board to see to it that they do good parenting of their children. And for the children who go astray, to inform them about their rights. Like my brother Bosco has said, many parents thought now, when government came up with children's rights, that children have rights, particularly the children's rights. They say government has given children the liberty to do anything they want. So they sat back. They did not now want to take their full parental responsibility. That is negligence on their part. And as you rightly said, some of the parents thought it would be laughter all the time when their children are bringing luxurious things, TVs, large TV screens, motorcycles, maybe food on the table from their criminal activities. Despite the fact that some of them were saying, my child was able to navigate through the operations and managed to escape, others were in tears because I think their children were beaten by the mob. So we are saying this calls for all of us to rethink what we do. If you're a parent, what do you do with your children? What do you do yourself for the children? Do you take proper parental control over them? A child cannot be away from home for 2 or 3 days and a parent is not interested to ask. That will be very unfortunate. I like at times the women, the mothers, however old a son or a child is, a mother will still call that my child. I don't know whether for us, the fathers, we call them like, or we think about them like the mothers do. It should be both the father and mother to do that responsibility. Don't abandon them. When you see a grown-up son is almost going astray, they may listen to you better. Sit and attend to them, talk to them, so that they change. So as police, we are really emphasizing that through our community barazas, community sensitizations, people should be able to really take this information seriously, and we adopt better ways of living away from crime, such that what we saw yesterday should not repeat itself in this city.
Okay, that is it in relation to the operations going on, and we are still going on with the show as well. We're just already some 2 minutes after 8 o'clock. That means that we need to first run for this short commercial breather, and when we return back, we still have lots more to discuss with you. Keep your comments coming through, and I will be able to really go through some of them in the next hour of the show. Stay tuned. This is the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile Television. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023, live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13th, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
welcome back from that short breather. We are already 7 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we are discussing issues related to the ongoing mob action and mob activities that is by the members of the public who are trying to bring sanity in what we are saying is happening in the Central Business District, and really want to see how these operations can go on without violations of other people's rights. Because we are saying, much as these thieves are doing wrong things, they still have their rights that need to be respected, and this is what human rights is all about, where we also need to respect maybe right property. What we really did see happening where people are seen burning motorcycles is really against the law, and we may see the law turning against them. This is maybe a warning I want to solely warn you about. But really, in the next hour, I also want to remind you that we shall be having a meeting that is indeed the day, maybe during the day, also the day, where also really members of the public will be sitting maybe together with the security operatives to also discuss and maneuver ways to see that what we are seeing in Central Division, that is on the ongoing operations against the thieves, also really is brought down, because we want to see now sanity, and if at all maybe these thieves also really leave what they are doing, that definitely may also really make us realize our dreams of living in a city that is safe, because a city that is not safe may also really affect people also really, and may also really affect the development of the city itself, because investors may not be attracted here, and several businesses also really will not be established because people will fear risking their monies, because in a place that is of lawlessness is definitely that is one that cannot witness that is development. And earlier on we are discussing maybe how parents can be of help. That is also really see to that also these tendencies of also really the mob action is brought down, and then the criminality itself also is reduced, and that is why parents also need to unite hands. And I found Matua Alfred Otokira was on the verge of also telling us that we need to reunite and work together, and that is what exactly I must say could be happening in Central Division. But really there are now things that we need to do. First of all, also really maybe respecting the rights of these people, and secondly also really working with police. Those are the small maybe gaps that people need to address, as much as community needs to work with police, and these are things that we want to see happening. And really now we want to bring back the discussion, and I will now start with OKURUT Bosco. Tell us maybe how also people can also really maybe bring down the cases of the mob action and security itself within the Central Business District, and really that would also really be quite good. But in most cases, I don't know why in Africa, really in our traditions, most of the blames on these children, because some of these people are young children. I must remind you that these are young children really, who are very young, below the age of 20. Sometimes you see a child of 14 years, 15 or 13 is actually engaged in this criminal activity. That means that they also draw inspirations from some of these top criminal gangs, because these gangs, I must also remind you that at times we are being told, and personally I do not know them, but really according to stories we are hearing from them, some of them are doing well. They have built houses, they have also really bought plots, and that is why we are seeing maybe there's a rise in criminality within the Central Business District, and that is why most people also think the only way to also really make it in life is through theft. But really that is not the case. I really also want to warn them about the same, that theft is never maybe a job, because you need to also ensure that you work and through your sweat. That would also really be a very, very good. And maybe if you can maybe you start in that second discussion, maybe in a second hour, to also let us know of what exactly needs to be done to see that also we bring down the cases of the mob action within the Central Business District, and what exactly needs to be done to see to that also no lives are lost in these operations. That would also really be very, very good for us to understand.
Thank you very much. Maybe before we go to what should be done, I wanted us to first understand the community. I mean, the viewers out there to understand the causes. What are some of these causes? Like I had already highlighted a few of them, but you also realize that there is ignorance of the law and the set legal procedures by the community members. You realize that most of the community members do not know how the law operates, what laws are in place. You realize that, for example, when a suspect of a criminal activity is arrested, taken to police, or maybe taken to court, could be police or courts of law, and this suspect is given either police bond or a court bail, the public will immediately...
could that be where these accusations of maybe we take this to police frees them and gets money from them? Could that be where these are maybe...
That is one of them.
Could be coming from?
That's one of them.
Okay.
You realize that the police or the courts of law set these people free on court bail or police bond. But the public will immediately jump into conclusion that the police have been given money because they don't know the procedures. They don't know that when this person is released on police bond, the case has not come to an end. When the person is released on court bail, the case has not come to an end. this person will continue reporting to police, this person will continue reporting to court until such a time maybe when he will be relieved, or if the investigations are concluded, when this person reports back to police at some point, the person will be, the police bond will be cancelled, the person will be arrested and taken to the court. And that's what the public does not know. They conclude immediately that police has been given money, or the courts of law have been given money, and the next thing to think about is mob action. That's one of the causes. And then high levels
But what does that indicate of our judicial system? But sometimes also believe it is the members of the public who are contributing to that, because somebody may not be able to follow their judicial proceedings until the last end. And that is what we're also really seeing, because if maybe the witness does not turn up in court, court has nothing to do.
That is another one. You realize that people take this, they go to police, register these cases, they don't follow up these cases. They don't provide the evidence. They don't provide exhibits. The police are calling for the witnesses to record their statements, they are not taking. And when such cases go to court, they end up being dismissed because there is no witness, there is no evidence, and there is no exhibit, you know, to support their case. And should such a thing happen, a case has been dismissed in the courts of law. Police has eaten money. Courts, the judicial officers have been given money. But people are not following their cases. People are not giving the necessary support needed by police or by the courts of law. So that is one of the areas where there is a gap. And people then resort to mob action. And then high levels of illiteracy. You know, there are some people who do not believe in natural death in the region, for example. People don't believe in natural death. When somebody dies, members of the community start tracing the line of the deceased's enemies. And then, including the person who might have made any threat against the deceased. And then what comes up immediately? Conclusion that this is the person who killed the deceased, and mob action. And then what Afande talked about, the moral and spiritual degeneration. You know, people no longer fear God or respect the existing laws. They no longer reflect on the repercussions of their actions. That is why they always quickly think about killing others. And this is done through mob action. And then the culture of revenge is one of them. You realize that there are people who really have that culture of revenge. They don't believe in forgiveness. They believe in revenge. You realize that in the region here, there are some people. I recall of one incident where somebody beat up a woman, a wife. A husband beat up a wife. And the wife reported to her people that the man has beaten me. And the people, the relatives of the woman, came and destroyed properties of this man. And the man's relatives equally revenged. And this is one of the causes. And they do it in a mob. And then you realize that we have this thing continuously. The mob action continuously. And then there's also alleged delayed investigations and corruption, which they normally say at police. You realize that there are some cases that take long to be investigated. Sometimes files lose positions. And the public out there will not believe in an explanation, but they will say, this is done intentionally to deny them justice. And the only thing they can think about is to resort to mob action. And this is one of the areas that is affecting the region. And then alleged delayed resolution of cases in the courts of law, what you talked about here, it is one of them. The public will not understand why the land, especially the land matters, why are they taking long? Why are the courts taking long to decide or to resolve these matters? You know, land matters have a lot of complications. Sometimes from civil, they go to criminal. From criminal, they come back to civil. So it takes long for a land matter to be concluded. Sometimes the witnesses are not there. Sometimes the witnesses have transferred. Some of them have gone to Kampala, they have relocated. Those who know.
Could that maybe indicate that there's a weakness in the judicial system that could be contributing to all this we're talking about? Should we take it that way? I
wouldn't want to really call it a weakness as such, but the process. The process, because when you talk about a land matter taking long, because of certain reasons, I wouldn't want to equate it to the weakness in the system. The system does what it does, but in most cases, you realize that the people who have taken, the complainants themselves, they are the ones delaying their cases. They are not providing the witnesses, they are not providing the evidences, so a matter will take long. And also, as I said, these civil matters, especially land matters, they keep on turning from civil to criminal back to, as you realize, there will be criminal trespass, there will be murder, there will be this. So they keep on, alternating. And that is one of the reasons why these land matters take long. So I wouldn't want to equate it to denying the members of the public justice, but rather the system is okay, but you realize that there are some elements, within the public also, who try as much as possible to make sure that these matters are delayed. There are those ones also. So that is another cause. And then what we talked about, parental responsibility, that one, and guidance, that one I had already talked about it. Parents need to play their role, because this is also bringing a lot of issues on mob justice. Children are stealing for survival because the parents are not responsible. And then there is laziness. That is one of the causes. From which side, parents or the children themselves? The laziness. Laziness applies to both. Okay. You realize as we talk right now, we have the rains. The water is there. God has given us rain. But there are people who leave their homes early in the morning. They are the trading centers. They are the trading center. What are they doing there? There's some comment I liked when we went to Arivo, where a woman suggested that the reintroduction of graduated tax would help address this issue of young people who just want to sit at the trading centers. Will this also really maybe help eradicate the issue of laziness among these youths? I think graduated tax, I may not really go for that as of now. But what we need to do is to really talk to the young people and let them understand that, laziness is a disease. It's a disease. You need to work. The Bible, in Proverbs chapter 10, verses 4, talks about laziness. And also 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10. They talk about laziness. That if you don't want to work, also don't eat. But you realize that people don't want to work, people are lazy, but people want to eat. People want to survive. And they want to live a luxurious life, which normally does not tally with what they are doing. They are doing nothing, they have no source of income, but people want to eat good food. People want to dress well. People want to buy smartphones. People want to sponsor their lovers. Exactly. People want to go to Bamboo. People want to go to Capital One. People want to dress in suits, buy smartphones, buy the motorcycles that the fund was motorcycles, and then the flat screens, and then you want to, like, there's an example I can give. A young man from within the region here went to Congo and stole some money there. When that young man came back to Uganda, that young man was busy giving out money to his girlfriends. I think 2 or 3 of them. 500,000, go for lunch. Lunch. Another 500, go for lunch. And the young man bought 3 phones, smartphones. He was
For all
carrying them.
the girlfriends?
No, for himself. For himself, he was carrying 3 smartphones. And then he bought a flat screen. You can imagine this kind of thing. But fortunately, the young man was arrested and prosecuted. So this is the kind of life people want, and yet they are not having any proper source of income. So you realize that it's affecting, and people resort to stealing the property of others, stealing phones of other people. These phones that are snatched here within the city, I'm told they sell them cheaply, 50,000, 100,000. But also, I want to blame the people who buy these phones from these people, from the thugs, from the criminal gangs. They buy these phones and then they sell to the general public. This is also another thing police should interest themselves in, investigate, and bring such people to book. So those are some of the causes. And then you asked about what should be done. You know, there are institutions that are responsible in bringing down or in fighting against mob action. Uganda Human Rights Commission, for example, is mandated by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda under Article 52(1) to receive and investigate complaints of human rights violations. And we are talking about the right to property, the right to life, the right to freedom from torture. These are some of the complaints the commission handles. And then we have a tribunal that hears these matters. Police are mandated to protect life and property of the members of the public. And in so doing, they are also mandated, according to the Police Act, to apprehend the perpetrators or the criminal elements. And this could be some of the people who participate in mob action, have them arrested, investigate their matters, take them to the RSA, that is DPP, who is also mandated to direct the police to investigate all these criminal matters. And after investigations, they have a mandate to prosecute, institute criminal proceedings against all these perpetrators of mob action and have them prosecuted in the courts of law. Then we have the courts of law themselves. They are supposed to handle the justice bit of it. Have these people brought to court, have their matters heard. Those who are involved in mob action, the perpetrators, when they are brought, because these are criminal matters, when they are brought...
Should we say also those who are currently carrying out the operations may also land in the law?
They could be. They could. Because the operations they are doing, I would say, is illegal. Because they are involved in violating the rights of the people they are arresting. Those who are involved in banning, for example, the property of the victims, you know, those who are involved in beating up the suspects, those are the kind of perpetrators of mob action, and they could land themselves into trouble when the police arrest them. They will be prosecuted. So, like you rightly said, that you're passing a warning to them as they participate in arresting or apprehending these suspects of criminality. They should be careful. They should do it in accordance with the laws. Otherwise, they will fall victims themselves. So, the courts of law are supposed to hear these matters expeditiously and make sure that these people are given sentences that match their criminal activities.
I think,
and then lastly, we have the prisons. The prisons does correctional services.
The University of Understanding.
Exactly. When these people are taken there, the prison service should be able to make sure that these people their behavior is corrected, their criminal nature is also looked into. There are so many things they do in the prisons that make sure that by the time this person comes out from the prisons, they are changed persons. And they should not come back with the same criminal nature. They should come as changed persons.
Yes.
Those are the institutions that are charged with the...
Okay,
then, can I add on one?
Yes.
Then we have the CSOs. They have a lot of work to do. They should do... They organize programs to sensitize the public about the existing laws and other things. Then we do not forget about the media.
Okay.
The media is so vital, very crucial.
Yes.
In the fight against the mob action.
Okay.
Because the media make sure that these people are brought to light.
Okay.
There are certain incidences that happen in the villages, in certain corners, but the media makes sure that these people are brought to light and the public gets to know that this is what is happening. Okay. That's how crucial the media is.
All right, thank you so much for mentioning those stakeholders who have to reunite to ensure that we bring sanity also really in terms of also really protecting the rights of the citizens. And one of the stakeholders which have been mentioned is actually the media. And that is why we are here to also sensitize the members of the public and let them know of what exactly could be happening and how they would also land themselves into the wrath of the law. And that is why we are here also to let you know that much as what you're doing is to bring sanity, but it should be implemented in the best way, because if at all you're going to violate rights, you may also land yourselves in maybe in jail, because these thieves, after maybe serving the sentences, may also really come back and in turn sue you, or maybe also really pin you for violating their rights, as you may also land yourself in jail there. That would also really not be good, where what you're doing maybe could be for the right reasons, but really at the end of the day also really landing yourself maybe into trouble there. And one of the stakeholders who was actually very much maybe mentioned here is actually the police, who are also really well represented in the House. And really I want to say now, maybe as police, how ready are you for this exercise in terms of also really ensuring that the citizens' rights are protected? Because one of the stakeholders that was mentioned in terms of also really attaining all these systems and all the maybe the respect that is to be maybe given to human life is maintained, and police is actually one of them, as well as media also as well was mentioned. Maybe as police, how ready are you assuring the members of the public in terms of saying that yes, as much as police, much as we have our weaknesses and maybe our challenges here and there, we are still in charge of that is bringing, that is maybe respect to human rights, maybe also maybe the laws in place, so that also there are no violations of the rights of any citizens, more so maybe in the Central Business District where these operations are still taking place.
Thank you. Right from training institutions, police are prepared to ensure that all aspects of policing are done in accordance with the observance of human rights. We have 3 levels of obligation as police officers in ensuring that rights are not violated. One is the obligation to respect, in that we refrain from interfering with people's rights, and we ensure that no person interferes with another person's right. 2, we protect people's rights. I told you one of our mandates is protection of life and property, alongside with the other duties we perform. In protection, we implement laws that provide for equal enjoyment of rights by the individual. Be it a suspect should enjoy his or her right of remaining innocent until proven guilty, should enjoy other rights, such as rights they are to enjoy in detention, rights they are to enjoy during arrest, and rights they are to enjoy during searches, and many others, including fair hearing and what have you. And then the 3rd level of obligation is of fulfillment. Fulfillment is that we establish structures or mechanisms or procedures where people can claim their rights. For example, if one's right has been abused, how should this person claim his right? For example, a person has a right to fair hearing right to be produced in courts of law, within 48 hours. If not, and then this person should enjoy other rights such as release on bond and what have you. Now, in doing all this, we are saying we can't do it alone. We do it together with the community. In what we are to do as security agencies or citizens, I think our duties are almost similar. When you go to the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, it will tell us that it spells the duties we are to perform as security agencies, and it also spells the duties of citizens. And one thing which caught my attention is cooperation. The law will tell us that we should cooperate with other security agencies and the community generally in ensuring that there is safety and security in our country. It will provide it as a duty also to citizens that citizens should cooperate with security agencies in ensuring safety and security. And this, as my brother OKURUT has said, ignorance has been the biggest challenge in some of these things that lead to people saying that's why they involve in mob actions. For example, you hear the community saying they have lost faith in police,
that is what they
in
have
court,
been saying.
and what have you. If they had understood well how police or these courts operate, they would not think that they are justified to take the law into their hands or make comments such as police has failed. We need the community for the information, for the support, for the evidence, which will enable us to take these persons to court. And then the community needs us, security agencies of police, for the technical aspects of organizing this evidence, these exhibits in order, so that these people, they say, we always take to police, police release. We need them to give us that support.
Like now, sorry to cut you short, maybe how is this issue about them banning the exhibits also really going to hamper maybe the judicial system? Maybe in that is
already a bad practice, because if those were the motorcycles that are being used in commission of these crimes, and then they have already tampered with them by banning them away. So this is where people need to come up with, to try to understand how certain structures operate. The biggest challenge with the people here is thinking that they are ignorant to understand certain things. Nobody is ignorant to understand something. People are really, when something is explained, people should understand. Now, there is this aspect where
maybe
we need to emphasize
what needs to be done so that this person understand what needs to be, maybe understand the law. Because a lay person like me may not be understanding what these laws are all about. What needs to be done so that this person desist from some of the tendencies that we are talking about?
If you want to learn something, you should listen. You should ask. These are some of the basic things we can do to understand something. Okay. Ask so that you can know. When you have been told, try to think about it, understand. For example, they say, we always release these people. That is why they now practice mob action against them. Yeah.
Okay.
Police, I told you, police functions based on considerations for aspects of human rights in every level. For example, it is in law that if we don't produce these people in court within 48 hours, we should give them, release them on bond. We have tried to explain this to the community time and again when we are having interactions with them, dialogues with them. It is a right to that suspect to be released on police bond if we are not able to take this person to court within 48 hours.
Okay.
Now, this is what the public needs to understand. It is not just about saying the police has already been bribed. Let us try to understand how police system operates, so that we don't justify certain things wrongly. Now, those who have already involved themselves in violating rights of others, for example, beatings, burning their property, and what have you, the police is not going to sit back and say these people were doing a good job. It is a duty to citizens to ensure that they also respect the rights of others. When you want to enjoy a right, your right, don't infringe on the right of the other person. Don't step on his foot. Don't do something which you feel that person should not have done to you. So this is how rights are enjoyed. So police were saying there is no justification for anybody to beat another person that you were arresting.
Okay.
If a person can explain that I used reasonable force to bring this person to order so that he submits to police, is okay. Here, the community yesterday identified some suspects who they believe are involved in committing these crimes, these robberies and what have you. And the intelligence reports we have been getting have also confirmed that some of these persons were truly involved in some robberies that had already been registered with police. Now, what do we need? Handing them over to police already is not enough.
Okay.
We need to work from when they were arrested yesterday up to when they reach court, even testifying in the cases against these people. We need to work together with the community.
Okay.
So, handing them with the exhibits, dangerous weapons and what have you, which were found in their possession, is not enough. They have already identified the suspects. They have handed them over to police. They have handed over the exhibits to police. These exhibits will not be presented in court and talk for themselves that I was found with so-and-so.
Okay.
We still need the community to come and state about this. That's now called the evidence.
Okay.
Stating about this in statements written down, and even to go to court to testify that that day I was present.
Okay.
We got this person committing this crime. We arrested him, handed him over to police. Police arrested him, and we stated this is where this person has been produced in court. And that way, these people will go to court. Finally, I want to say, the intention of law is not that all these processes of arrest, production in court, taken to prison, does not imply that this person must go forever. What people should understand is, this person is brought to the law, police takes him to court, court sentences him to prison, prison should mentor this person to become a good person, and goes back to the community. The intention should not be that this person should be taken away from the community completely.
Okay.
That is where people go wrong. People want to eliminate them by killing them, which is wrong. And
But
people don't want them
sometimes-
to go back.
Sorry
in
to
their
cut you
midst.
short. Maybe sometimes people say police has been contributing to the killings. What they usually say, I was recently in one of the community barazas, this was in Arivu, where this issue actually came out by the locals. They say sometimes once a thief is being arrested, they even call police, but police takes long to respond. And then secondly, police also already, there are some people who always tell them, they have not mentioned names, I will be able to be clear on that, but there are those people who say that they will not be able to come because they want to just come and pick dead bodies. How true are these? And maybe how maybe ready is police to see that these accusations do not continue to go on, because these are issues that have always been there, because maybe people feel they're tired, and that is why they're saying police has failed, and that is why now they're coming in place to see that maybe is police still in charge of also trying to bring maybe the sanity and the security that we're talking about in just a few minutes, as we are remaining with about 3 minutes to move on to the show before also bringing my
now
to finalize.
when police takes maybe a week without receiving cases, that is a positive for us. When police takes 1 day receiving many cases, that is a negative. So police officers will not naturally say, we want to come and pick dead bodies. They will not naturally say that, because it is our mandate to protect life and property. However, there may be challenges in the response time.
Okay.
I don't know how long or how quick it takes to kill a person. somebody may be hit once and he dies. And I don't know if the police response can be such as that he should arrive to save this person's life before this person is hit once and he dies.
Okay.
Now, it depends on where the call for police assistance is from. For example, here, a mob action is being perpetrated in Ondoparaka, Aivu West Division, and the police has to respond from here because our field force unit, public order management team is from here. Police station there is a bit far away from, assuming the police station is far away from where this incident is happening. Those there will be responding on foot because currently we use the resources which are from the central division here. Those are the challenges which should be understood by the community.
Okay.
We shall always endeavor to respond as quick as we can. Now, there is this aspect here. People will want to do the action first, take time to call police. That also gives us to respond a bit.
So maybe finally, your message to the members of the public, if at all there is any mob action case going on, how should they react and what exactly needs to be done?
I always tell the members of the public that if you see something, say something quickly. Say something quickly. For example, if you see somebody is lifting a log, a club to hit another, say something about it. Even if you don't say it to police, tell that person, please don't hit the other person. Now, in these circumstances where you see mob actions, you see something being done, we always ask the community to give us information quickly. What we need is information. Whether it is a true information or a wrong information, it is our duty to really respond and tell the community that this is the information you gave us and we have processed it, it is ABCD. 2, cooperating with us. Cooperation is very vital. From the onset of when something is happening up to the final disposal of this case, we should work together to see to it that justice is given to a person who really needs it. So, calling on the community to always support police and support police in the right ways is very important.
All right, maybe your final words in just 30 seconds as we are moving out of the show.
The community should not get alarmed with this. If you are being involved in some of these criminal gangs that are terrorizing the city, you should be learning from what the community has demonstrated yesterday by working together with the forces, with the security agencies to ensure that you are picked and handed over to face the law. So desist from those actions, be a changed person, let us make our city a peaceful place to live in.
All right, thank you so much, Afande Inspector of Police, that's Matua Alfred Otokira, for those remarks in there. And if I can also really come to OKURUT Bosco, who is ARUA Regional Officer, that is for Human Rights Commission, also really maybe to sum up the discussions for today. We also want to thank you so much for always coming maybe and responding to our calls, where we also need you, and I hope we still will be able to maybe call you for more engagements. That would be quite good. You must maybe it's in 30 seconds, if you can maybe to put your final words and maybe also the final remarks for the members of the public, that would also really be quite good for us to understand why we are here.
Well, thank you very much, our viewers. I want to say that the issue of mob action is well, it's not ending here. The members of the public should know that there is a lot to be done. We need to work together. We need to fight against this vice. And I would really like the members of the public to know that as we enjoy our rights, we have duties and responsibilities. And one of them is to respect the rights and freedoms of other people. As you enjoy your right to maybe life, as you enjoy your right to property, as you enjoy your right to freedom from torture, you need to be aware that there is somebody out there who also has the right to own property. And what I want to clearly state here is that some of these phones that are being snatched by the criminal gangs, some of these motorcycles that are being stolen by the criminal gangs were obtained by loan. Some of these people are still paying loans, and their phones are being stolen, their motorcycles are being stolen. The pain of someone who got a
long period of time to earn that small thing.
Exactly, and they are still paying the loans for the motorcycle, for the phone, and then the phone is stolen, and then the motorcycle is stolen, and then maybe the motorcycle is banned, and then you will have to continue paying for that motorcycle. It pains a lot. And the members of the public should know that there is no one, like I said, no one has a right to violate the rights of others. No one has a right to commit an offense. You know, let's respect the rights and freedoms of other people by not getting involved in these criminal activities. So while we condemn the perpetrators of mob action for their actions, we would also like to condemn these criminal activities. People should not get involved in these criminal activities in the name of survival. You know, other people are looking for things are bad for everyone, but you don't have to go ahead and steal another person's property. You're violating that person's right, and as the law states, you deserve to be arrested and prosecuted for that offense. But for the public also to take the law into their own hands is not proper. So in other words, what I'm saying is that we condemn the two practices. We condemn the perpetrators of mob action, but also we condemn the criminal gangs.
Okay. Okay.
So what I would really lastly like the public to know is that as we enjoy these rights we are always talking about, please, they are laid down legal procedures to be followed. Okay. If you have a complaint against somebody, if somebody has stolen something, there are procedures to be followed. Okay. Report these cases to the rightful authorities, the police. They will investigate these matters. They will be taken to the courts of law, and these people will be prosecuted and taken to prison. Okay. As per the laws.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. OKURUT BOSCO. Mr. OKURUT BOSCO is the regional, that is human rights officer, that is for Arua Regional Office. And we really do very, very much appreciate your time for coming to talk to us about the ongoing operations, that is of mob action, where we're seeing it on the rise, that is within the Central Business District. And also did have, that is Inspector of Police Matua Alfred Otokira. He is the Division Community Liaison Officer for Central Division, that is under Uganda Police. And this is where actually the operations were going. I hope you did have a wonderful time, and really with that we come to a closer of today's discussions as we also now pave way for the AOL as a news team to come through and also let you know of what is happening maybe in the world of news. That is why you must also really be waiting for them, because the team is here in the language that maybe could be the one that you best know, and that is why the team is already in place to also let you know of what exactly is happening within right from the city, because this is information you're not going to get from anywhere, but rather information that you will only find here on West Nile Television. And that is, with that we really come to a close of today's discussion, and we appreciate each and everybody who shared their comments maybe right from the time we began. Twaha, we do appreciate you for dropping that comment in there, and the rest who also watched us right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. We say have yourselves a good day, and we shall bounce back for another edition of the discussions tomorrow. But for now, let's also really now come to a closer with the show, and really we appreciate you so much. Thank you.